I'm definitely no stranger to custom Lego Fallout figures. I think I've reviewed figures from 4 or 5 different companies, whether it's, Brickmania, we got Firestar, K-Town Bricks, Brick Tactical, and even Natsty Bricks with their 3D printed power armor suits. Got a lot of coverage here, some stuff from the show, some stuff specifically from New Vegas. Today we're going to have another character joining from the Fallout New Vegas collection, made by Ray's Customs, or maybe Rise, but I'm pretty sure Ray's. Very interesting design, especially in the collector card you get with the minifigure actually being a card. It seems like their signature thing that they do for all the figures in their brand. So you got the Ray's Custom on the back there with their logo, and the render of Joshua Graham from the DLC from New Vegas. Got a quote from him there too, and it's kind of cool for him being on a card like this since part of the New Vegas collector's edition for the game. They had a full deck of cards and also the whole caravan type game. Kind of adds to the, atmosphere of the world. I know they do this for their Star Wars customs too, but it's a little more special for New Vegas. And also got the minifigure here with a Brick Arms pistol, so let's check it out. This is my first Ray's custom minifigure, as well as they did this as a collab with Navarro Bricks, so it's also their first Fallout New Vegas minifigure. They've done a couple of different video game characters, like Snake from Metal Gear, as well as I think some Spider-Man PS4 skins. So they've done some video game stuff, but mostly it's Star Wars. And it seems like most of their minifigures are collabs of some sort. So that's kind of an interesting business model. I'm interested how that works. But just getting purely to the design here, I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far and all the different little details all over. I'm not sure who actually prints their minifigures, but the cool, kind of carry around for the design as it goes from the edges to different sides looks really great. I'm going to guess, no inner leg printing in this case. It's going to be like a CMF style minifigure where it will match. Again, a lot of what Lego would do for a collectible minifigure. It'll go for the arms where it is printed on the arms, and it does have a, fake imitation dual mold where it is tan and white. So on the inside of the arms on both sides, you will have a little bit of white printed around. And for the pistol here being included as the accessory, just a generic brick arms. I don't think it's going to be specific to the character. Could be the exact model of gun that they used in the game. I'm not sure. I'm not a gun person, but it's a nice inclusion since I know at certain parts of the DLC he just sits there and reloads the gun menacingly repeatedly. So that's one of his iconic sort of character features there. So good choice for an accessory. Good to get something. I mean, I know this gun's probably only like $1, and since they probably bought a lot of them, they could get it for cheaper. But it's a nice addition to have something for a character like this to hold. I already kind of talked about the leg printing, where it has that really interesting sort of leather snakeskin shoe design, I guess. I can't remember exactly what it looks like in the game, but it's kind of a neat little design there. And like I said, very seamless as it transitions around the corner there. I think that looks perfect. I think it's kind of the only place it does it on the legs, where you also have the patch. I guess those are the two spots. Both look good. The black looks like it is pretty crisp. See if I can focus on that a little bit better. Again, look at that. That's nice. A little bit of extra stitching around the outside of that patch, and even more stitching on the legs on the inside there, along the leg. Some pouches kind of continuing from the belt there are kind of nice, and it gives you a little bit of extra range as you bend them. Can make it a little bit longer of pouches. The design doesn't super break up. I mean, it does eventually when you bend the legs back too far, but this isn't going to be that much of a dynamic character, so that probably won't matter too much for pictures or posing. It's kind of nice how there is that little overhang of the pocket for those pouches too. I think that looks nice. And the belt here looks like it's going to be the same material as the shoes, so that's a nice extra little bit of continuity in his costume, where maybe it is a certain type of leather that he would use for a belt and the shoes. It's going to be a case, though, where it looks a little goofy with no belts on the back of the legs. So, it's something missing there that I would have liked to have seen improved. I know a lot of these customs like this are trying to imitate and kind of take influence from the Lego collectible minifigure. Like I said, a lot of those don't have back printing on the legs. So I get it, but when you're doing a custom, especially when you're already printing black on the back of a torso, just plug the legs on and do some sort of printing on the back, whether it is just belt loops or something. And you probably could have designed this in a way that it had the leather design that you could just reuse it on the back of there to print all the details over it. Maybe that wouldn't be super efficient since the black lines on the front there would probably be the same pad as the pouches. But that's just my thought and would just go to enhance this a little bit. Over on the back, there's like a little bit of design on the back, I think, or looks like it was just dust from maybe shipping or the factory. So it's just a little dirty out of the back. But you had some separate lines for the bulletproof vest, since he's got a SWAT vest on. And it's kind of interesting. I think from what I remember, he's part of like the Mormon sort of faction in the game. So I guess probably plays into the design a little bit where he has removed patches on his sleeves that kind of end up looking like tribal logos of some sort with the patches removed. I'm assuming that would probably be intentional to kind of give that look. Or, I don't know. If you're a super expert on the game, I haven't actually gotten around to playing the DLCs. I've only watched videos on them throughout the years, but arms look really cool and the bandages are also nice. Some little bit of extra creasings on the rolled up part of the sleeve. I know the base character, he's like this because the Caesar's Legion like kicked him out and burned him and everything, and he went off and did the other faction. I know that about him. And then on the head, there's like a little bit of bandages on the back, but you turn the head to the side and there's nothing. So that's always one of the bummers about characters like this or Spider-Man or whoever. Weird breakups in the print ends up looking a little goofy, but obviously it's going to happen since it would take like 2 to 3 more times probably to properly print a 360 head. And you're not going to have printing on like the top of the head or anything either. So there, I can kind of brush away like a complaint about that. I think that's perfectly fine, but it's still nice to get the nice faux dual molded arm. I think that's a nice little feature. All the printing on here looks really great. Nothing is looking miscolored, like the white on the vest looks perfect and doesn't seem like the black is leaking through or anything. I'm a big fan of Fallout, wanted to pick up this figure, especially since it's pad printed just like Lego, and that's what I prefer for my collection. Got some nice silver even for some belt buckles, and I'm kind of noticing there and some other little things on the vest. It's a great figure, especially for $30, and I think right now it's 15% off on his website too for like Black Friday, so I would definitely recommend this. With that being said, let's go to some comparisons and the final review. From what I'm seeing so far, it seems like this character is going to fit in perfectly with any other Fallout minifigures you might have in your collection. From pretty much any company, you know, it is going to be more Lego styled, so it'll be a little less detailed than like the stuff that Brickmania put out, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I stopped buying some of their later Fallout releases, is that I'd rather wait for somebody to do something that is a little closer to Lego, since that's kind of the design philosophy I enjoy a little bit more. You know, Firestars is probably a little bit more detailed than what Lego would do with extra colors and everything, but I think this is still the best ghoul design that I've seen, and face design is just the best option, so that's why I picked that one. I feel like K-Town did a great job on their other minifigures, though, from the show line. You know, their ghoul is definitely fine as well, just not for me. Brick Tactical is kind of in the same boat where their designs just don't really look that great to me. You know, I got the ghoul here since it's pretty hard to mess up like an ugly character like this. But some of their other kind of UV designs just don't really fit in my idea of what I would want for my collection. But I would really be interested to see if this one does well, if they'll do more characters in the lineup, just because this is a great attempt. You know, it's not like a super complicated minifigure since it is just like a head, torso, and legs, so probably makes it easier to make it a little bit cheaper, especially with the Fallout show coming out and New Vegas being tied into that in some way. It would be really cool to see some of the characters from the game pop up, and maybe some companies will go out and make some figures based on the games again, since that's something that could definitely happen. And I guess I forgot to even mention there are like some of his burn marks around his eyes, and everything just works very well here. I think every little detail fits perfectly. I really enjoy the transitions on the sides, like I already complimented a lot. It's a good minifigure, and I'm really glad to have it in my collection, especially just as something more specific to New Vegas instead of just generic Fallout or the show. Definitely welcome for the Fallout community, I'm sure. If you want to see more custom Lego Fallout minifigures or Fallout builds, check out all the content on my channel. If you want to help out even further, feel free to join as a member for some extra perks. Like always, I've been Brick Radiop, and I'll see you in the next video.